She thought she was smarter than me. She always did. From the time we were kids, my cousin Rayhan believed he was just a step ahead of me in everything, even when he wasn't, especially when he wasn't. We're only a year apart, raised almost like siblings. Our families lived just 10 minutes away from each other, and every holiday, wedding, and long weekend became an exhausting competition between us. Not officially, of course. But anyone watching closely would have seen it. Who got better grades, who was more athletic, who was more mature at 12, who got their driver's license first. Our parents tried to keep it low-key, but the tension was always there, polite on the surface, brutal underneath. The truth is, I worked hard. I stayed late after class, joined debate club, ran our school's podcast, volunteered on weekends. Rayhan, on the other hand, was the kind of guy who skimmed notes 5 minutes before a test and still passed. Barely. He had charm, I'll give him that. He could bluff through anything. It was frustrating to watch him slide by, year after year, while I pulled all-nighters and clung to my GPA like it was life support. So when we both decided to apply to Columbia University, I knew this was it, the ultimate showdown. For me, Columbia was the dream. I'd been planning it since freshman year, not just to get in, but to thrive there. Journalism, political science, student radio, everything I cared about lived on that campus. I had backups, sure, but my heart was set. Rayhan? He hadn't even mentioned Columbia until he overheard me talking to our aunt about my application strategy. Suddenly, he was very interested in Ivy League schools and started bragging to the family about how Columbia was his top pick. I should have known right then that he'd try something shady. Winter break came, and both of our families spent it at our grandparents' house. They live in Karachi, and the house was packed. Aunties, uncles, cousins, kids screaming in the hallway. The Wi-Fi was a joke, and space was even tighter. That meant we all had to share rooms, share tables, share electrical outlets. Rayhan and I both ended up working on our laptops at the dining table most nights, pretending to mind our business. My college application essay was almost done by then. I'd rewritten it 3 times already, trying to find the perfect balance between vulnerability and voice. It focused on my struggle with social anxiety, how moving to a new school in the middle of high school had wrecked my confidence, and how I slowly rebuilt myself by launching a student-run podcast where I interviewed other kids who felt like outsiders. It was the most honest thing I'd ever written. It felt real. One night, I stepped away from my laptop to take a phone call. I wasn't gone more than 10 minutes, but when I came back, Rayhan had switched seats and was working on his own laptop where I'd been sitting. Mine was closed, slightly shifted to the side. I remember asking him casually, "Did you move my stuff?" And he just shrugged and said, "Yeah, I needed the outlet." Something didn't feel right. Later that night, I checked my recent files. My essay had been opened. That particular version had only been saved locally, not uploaded to Google Drive or anything. The only way it could have been accessed was if someone physically opened the file. The next morning, while he was in the shower, I snuck onto his laptop. He never logs out. And there it was. An email draft to Columbia admissions with my essay copy-pasted into the body. The subject line was, "Application Essay Final." My stomach dropped. Word for word, same intro, same phrasing. He didn't even bother changing the anecdotes. I couldn't believe it. This guy, who had barely written a paper longer than 3 paragraphs in his life, had straight up stolen my most personal story and tried to pass it off as his own. At first, I was furious. I wanted to print the essay out and slam it on the table in front of the whole family. I imagined telling my parents, telling his parents, causing a massive scene. But then I paused, and something cold and calm settled in my chest. If Rayhan wanted to play dirty, I could go lower. I opened my laptop and made a copy of my essay. Then I started rewriting it. The new version had the same tone and structure but slowly derailed into nonsense. I kept the same hook and transitions but swapped out the core story. Instead of social anxiety, this version was about how I overcame the tragic loss of my childhood turtle, Bubbles, and how Bubbles taught me the value of resilience and courage. I made the metaphors deliberately absurd. Like cheddar, our courage sharpens over time. Like brie, softness is strength. I even quoted a line I falsely attributed to Maya Angelou. "In every slice of struggle, find the cheese." It was bad. So bad it sounded fake deep, just enough to fool someone who wanted to sound profound without knowing what any of it meant. Then I renamed the file, Application Essay Final Real 1.x. The kind of file name someone desperate and lazy would assume was legit. The next day, I made sure to open that file, leave my laptop unlocked, and disappear for a while, accidentally forgetting to close the document. Sure enough, when I returned, Rayhan was once again seated in my spot. He jumped a little when I walked in. My laptop was closed. I said nothing. We returned to our respective homes a few days later. I submitted my real essay to Columbia the night I got back. Meanwhile, I watched Rayhan post on Instagram a photo of his laptop with the caption, "Just hit submit Columbia 2025, followed by 3 rocket emojis. A week later, I got an email inviting me to a Columbia alumni interview. I kept it quiet. 2 weeks after that, I got in. I was at dinner when Rayhan called me. He sounded off. "Hey, did you hear back from Columbia yet?" "Yeah," I said, casual. "Got my acceptance letter this morning." He was silent for a beat, then quietly, "Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't get in." I asked, trying so hard not to gloat. "Did they say why?" "Something about the essay," he muttered. "Said it felt, I don't know, incoherent. Weird tone. Not believable." I made a sympathetic noise and said, "That sucks, man. Maybe it was just too cheesy." He didn't laugh. To this day, no one in our family knows what happened. Everyone just thinks Rayhan wasn't cut out for Ivy League. Every now and then, someone jokes about how he should have tried harder, and I bite my tongue to keep from blurting it out.